So, example 2 is asking us to find the median, or the equation of the median from the vertex C. So, first of all, we have to realize that this is vertex C over here. This is going to be a point on the line we're going to deal with. Vertex is at 5, 2. That's C. B is at 2, -5. And A is at -3 and 3. So we have our triangle. We want to find the median from vertex C. So the median means from the point C, we're going to cross the halfway point between A and B. Okay, guys? So we have to find the median of A and B. I have to find halfway. I know it's going to be somewhere in here, but I got to figure out what the exact coordinate on this plane is. So I'm going to go back to the old way of doing it, because you guys, I feel, we're a little easier with that. x1 plus x2 over 2. y1 plus y2 over 2. My coordinate 1 and coordinate 2 are going to have to be A and B. We're not dealing with point C right now. So A will be our 1s, and B will be our 2s. What that means is x1 is -3, y1 is 3, for all the rest of this equation so it makes sense. Our point 2 is going to be 2, -5. So to find the median, I add and divide. That's going to give me -0.5 as my x-coordinate, and -1 as my y-coordinate. So the median between A and B on this triangle is -0.5 and -1. So I go back -0.5 down -1 right here. I will call it M. Our median is at -0.5 and -1. So we found our median. We got to find the equation of a line going through this median. So let's do the equation of this line. It's got to go from point C through the median. So this new red line that I've drawn, we have to find the equation of this line. I know that this is one of the points, point M, and I know point C is one of the points. But what I need to do now is I need to find the slope. Like I told you guys before, once we have 2 points, we can create a right-angled triangle, a rise over the run. Instead of drawing it in this picture, because I already have a triangle, it's going to get very complicated. It'll get very messy on this page. If I draw another triangle, it's going to get a little confusing. You guys need to remember this formula you learned in grade 9, okay? In grade 9, you guys would have learned, y2 subtract y1 over x2 subtract x1. Let's fix that. This equation will give you the slope of a line, okay? We already have, we're going to have to make 2 new, point 1 and point 2. We're going to be dealing with C and M this time. I'm going to have to we'll call C our point 1, and we're going to call M our point 2, okay? M will be our second point. We're going to plug those numbers in to figure out what the slope of our new line is, the slope of the red line we just created on this plane. So y2 is -1, and x2 is -0.5. Plug it into our equation here. That's our y2, subtract. Trying to find our slope. Our x1 is 5, and our x2 hold on. Pause this. Okay. Scratch that. Sorry, guys. This is the mistake here. y1 is our 2, and x1 is 5. Okay? Sorry about that. That was probably a little confusing there. This was our x2 and y2. Okay? We use those numbers to plug in. Now that we've put them into the formula, we have to solve. -1 subtract -2 is -3. Negative 0.5 minus 5 is negative 5.5. Okay? We have these numbers. We can keep it in fraction form. We can turn it into a decimal. It's really up to you guys. But in order to find the equation of our new line, remember we dealt with equations of a line y equals mx plus b. Okay? M deals with our slope. And we know this is our slope here, -3 divided by -5.5. I can change that into a nicer fraction. If I double it, it'll become -6 over 11. If they're both negative, it means it can be positive also. So 6 over 11. All I did was I doubled both the top and the bottom of that fraction, okay? So I'm working with two whole numbers. So I can plug in for my slope, 6 over 11. And because I have vertex C, I have an x and a y coordinate. We'll do x in red. Our x coordinate for point C is 5. Our y coordinate at point C is 2. So I plug the number 2 in, plus b. So what I've done here is I've plugged in a slope, and I've plugged in an x and a y, because that's a point on the line. I need to solve for b so that I have the equation of the new line I'm building. It's a confusing question. So let's keep going through this. 2 is equal to, when I multiply this out, it becomes 30 over 11 plus b. Okay? I'm going to bring that to the other side. It's going to become 2 subtract 30 over 11. B is going to be equal to, we're going to have to change 2 into fraction form, and then I need a denominator of 11. So it'll become 22 over 11, subtract 30 over 11, -8 over 11. If I divide it, I'm going to get a decimal. So if I turn this into a decimal, it becomes 0.72 repeated. It's equal to b. But what the main part is I've now found a b. So my equation of a line, we go back up a little, this equation of a line, y equals, we have our slope, 6 over 11 x, and I now have our b. We'll leave it in fraction form just because this one's in fraction form, -8 over 11. So I now have my equation of our red line on the graph up here. That red line we created from vertex C, this is the equation of that line. Y equals 6 over 11x minus 6 over 11. Take a look at that. There's a lot of equations we had to remember there, guys. We had to do median of a line, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That was our first equation we needed to remember. This is our median. We had to remember the slope of a line. y2 subtract y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And we had to remember our equation of a line. Equation. So, that looks like line, but it's supposed to be line. 3 different equations to solve that. There's a lot to remember there. Okay, guys? So your homework is going to be page 66, numbers 1 to 5, 21, and 22 is the extend if you can do it.